What's going on, Hexicans? How we doing this beautiful morning? We are the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're bringing the bridge and gap between entrepreneurs, real estate guys, and the crypto space to use cryptocurrency as a wealth creation tool and to use real estate as a wealth preservation tool. Guys, I'm going to be here alone today without Dane. He's out in Dorado here in Puerto Rico touring some schools for his kids. He might try to pop in later today, but today we have an amazing guest. Being that we're all about entrepreneurs, all about real estate, all about building wealth and bridging the gap with crypto, I feel like our guest today is a very unique guest because he's kind of done that in his life himself. He's an entrepreneur. He's been big in the music industry. I'll let him tell a story here in a second, but he's kind of gone in with the Richard Heart ecosystem that we all love, and he's creating something very unique in his life. He's also in Puerto Rico out here where we're at. I met him for the first time just last week, and I really love this gentleman and what his mindset is at. And you guys have to have an entrepreneurial mindset, know how to hodl if you want to be in crypto, because this is a business at the end of the day. And so, my man, Trevor, thank you so much for joining us today. It's truly an honor and a blessing. Won't you give the audience just kind of like a background of your story, you know, how you came up in the entrepreneur world? Start with your music background, because that really intrigues me, because I was actually in music myself, and I'll kind of tell you my story here in a little bit. But start with that. Start how you rode into your entrepreneurship journey all the way into where you got into the Richard Heart ecosystem, which is very unique, how you found your way into this space. So, man, yeah, go ahead and give it away.
Yeah, what's up, man? Well, yeah, Corey, thanks for having me on the show. I'm assuming everybody can hear me okay, or you tell me. So, but yeah, man, it's been shit. So my story's crazy. My name's Trevor, if you don't know me. I threw myself into this whole crazy RH ecosystem a little while back, but yeah, my story's wild. I grew up in the South. I'm a Southern boy, and just simple family, the whole thing, and did not come from wealth or anything like that. And I learned to play guitar at a young age. And got really, really passionate with it. And I learned guitar. Next thing you know, I was in high school, kind of just very, very punk rock, anti everything. And so I just
man.
literally, yeah, I've been a little punk for a long time, and I realized that I knew that I believed in myself that I could make a career out of playing guitar, and so I worked really hard. I'm trying to think. I started touring very, very early, so this was years ago, but I graduated high school. And it was months after that, probably. I don't even remember. It was very shortly after we were on the road full time. I mean, my junior year of high school, which was 11th grade, that summer, to give you an idea of how soon we were actually touring the United States as effing children, our parents had to sign waivers so we could go on tour.
My gosh,
it was wild. And so, because our band we started to get pretty good pretty early, like playing well together, like they're actually a pretty good band, and so we ended up we got asked to go on tour. I came back, everybody was like, oh, I spent at the lake house, I went to the ocean, this, that, and the other, and it's my senior year, and I'm like, yeah, I was in a rock and roll band, I spent the whole summer on tour, and it was wild. So I came back, finished high school. We all decided in the band that we weren't going to apply for any colleges, we weren't going to do the college thing. And we were just literally a band of brothers. And we were like, let's just try and play our way out of this small town, and become something. And so, yeah, we started writing music, and we signed to a really, really cool label that was through a Warner Brothers distribution. It was
wow.
a branch off kind of thing. It was a small indie label, and then everything started working from there. Got our first real like decent tour, and then got asked to be on this thing, got management, got a booking agency, signed to a label. And then we were on the road. I was on the road for.
What was the name of the band?
The name of the band was called The Wedding, just like The Wedding. It was weird. Yeah, try Googling that. Good luck. You're not going to find anything. So, but it's, I'm just kidding. We always laughed about that. We're like, why the hell did we name our band that? Why did we do that? But it was just funny because it's so hard to Google. You'd have to actually Google the band name and then maybe my name or one of the band members' names or a song or something like that. There's a lot of different music videos out there to check out. But yeah, toured 200 and we were gone for a minimum of 250 days every single year for 10 years. And then in 2000, I think it was 2009 to 2011, we were gone for 300. It was like 310 plus days a year. So I literally, our story's kind of crazy. We graduated high school, didn't have a place to really live for 10 years. And then whenever our career ended, it was like, well, I guess we have to be adults now. And like the Gatorade, the Red Bull, the pizza, all that stuff, it's not paid for anymore. So I guess we have to be real adults here. So
you got to make money somewhere at that point. It's funny, man. I don't have a same story as you, but I got into music very early on too. I learned to play guitar in my late teens. I went to a school out in Hollywood, California called Musicians Institute.
Okay.
And I don't know if you ever heard of that school. I went to that school for 3 years. I saw Steve Vai there. Steve Vai was like one of my role models. So was like Joe Satriani. I love shred guitar. And that was like what I kind of did. I had long hair. I had hair down in the middle of my back for like 15 years. And I played in bands all around LA when it was pay to play. We never got signed. We never took off. I did a lot of drugs. I drank a lot, and that's all that came out of that. I ended up very broke and going back home in my mid-20s and pretty much having nothing to show for it. And that was kind of my music story. But it was, the funny thing is that I don't regret it at all because I had such good memories out of that. And the life experience that I received out of, going to MI, which is Musicians Institute, those friends I met from around the world and playing in rock bands, man, that was probably one of the funnest times in my life, but the brokest times of my life.
Bro, 100%. Are you kidding me, dude? I probably made, realistically, I probably never made more than like 50 grand a year. But like, think about it, dude. Like,
yeah,
I was in a signed rock and roll band. My food's paid for. I just live in a freaking van or a bus with my best friends all year round.
Right.
Dude, you're not paying for anything. You don't have anything out of the pocket. So you feel like if you're doing good, you feel rich. And when you're doing bad, it doesn't really matter because you're with your friends. You're with your best friend.
It doesn't matter. Like, you're going to scrounge the next couple dollars to get your next ramen noodle.
Bro, I have stories about next level. When I say poor, you know what I mean? American poor, right? Like,
right.
Dude, we've dumpster dove for donuts. We've dumpster for I've done other. I have personally more than many times. Like, you learn all these little life hacks. Like, so if you're in a van and trailer and you're touring with a band that has a van and trailer, whenever you take a turn with a van and trailer, it creates a V.
Yep.
You have van trailer. So you do that.
You jackknife it. If you're not careful.
You make a little diamond right there in the middle of the Walmart parking lot. Put you a little like campfire in the middle. You're good. You're good. And then if you really want a good night's rest, a little life hack is if you go into Walmart, you go in the bedding section. Where they have these huge chunks of like what is it? The comforters and stuff. Take the comforter out, get the bottom shelf, take the comforters out, get in the shelf with your pillow and blanket, pull them all back in, and you can get a whole night's rest in Walmart for free.
I love it, man.
True story. Like it's the real deal, man. You can do that. I've slept in park benches. I've crazy tour stories. Been in 2 gas station robberies, a drive-by. Got wrecked and like it was bad, that situation. And then the ultimate story that our band was kind of known for was So buckle up. This is a wild one. Like this,
Okay.
you'll never you'll hear crazy tour stories about, oh, I was with like 10 chicks and I did a line of coke off her boobies and all this other stuff. That's child's play. That's child's play.
Typical. Yeah.
That's so, yeah. So there was this dude. A long story short, you can Google it. So a couple of, it wasn't me, I wasn't there, but a couple of our band members were staying with this dude. It was after the show. They stayed at this dude's house because we're poor and didn't have anywhere to, we're just like grinding, doing the music thing. And so they crashed at this dude's house that night. His name's Andrew. Andrew was a really cool kid. He was a really, really nice kid, and he opened up his home for the guys to stay there. They played, Guitar Hero. He had a brand new drum set. The house was beautiful. There's a couple weird things about it. The fact that he had a snowboard and it still had the price tag on it, or he had all these other things. All that to say, the guys left, and then a couple days later they called, and the person that introduced them to Andrew called them and was freaking out and was like, Andrew was just arrested after a 5-hour police standoff at his house where you stayed because he killed his dad, hacked his body up with a knife into all these chunks of pieces, and it was in the freezer when you guys were there.
Whoa!
Google it. You can Google it. It's called Andrew. You can Google Andrew Thompson, Oklahoma City murder.
How old was that kid?
Dude, he was riding scholarships for soccer, so he was right out of high school, looking at going into. Dude, he was an incredible soccer player. His father beat the shit out of him, dude. Beat the shit. There was confirmed plenty of cases where he would close fist, beat the shit out of him. Wow. And at soccer matches, if he didn't score a goal, he'd get slapped. Just goes to prove, man, at some point that pit bull's going to bite back. And they had an altercation in the kitchen where Adam, okay, our guitar player Adam is like the sweetest freaking dude in the world. He's sitting there making a sandwich, and he looks at Andrew and he goes, "So your dad, he's not here. Is he where is he?" And Andrew goes, "He's in Nigeria." He goes, "Cool. Is he like a missionary?" And Andrew looked at him all weird, and he was like, "No, he is not a missionary." And we were like, "Oh, daddy issues." All right, we're gonna chill. So,
wow.
Yeah. So it's crazy. When he went in, he didn't have a single tattoo, and he was a skinny little kid. Now, if you Google him, jacked, face is covered in tattoos. He's the real prison dude.
Oh wow.
So anyway, I got crazy stories, man. That Richard one time, he talked about him losing his virginity accidentally to a hooker. We accidentally picked up a hooker one time in Jacksonville, Florida. So I got stories for days, man. But it was the best. In summary, so we can go on this forever. But in summary, it was the best time of my life, man.
It was, man. Me too, man. It was the brokest time and the best time of my life. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And it sounds like your stories are even crazier than mine. I have a few that we could tell, but man, it was so much fun. And so when did your music career kind of start winding down? When did you kind of transition into the entrepreneurial type role that you now you embody in life? And because I know you've told me a little bit about how you opened up a merch store, and so how did that transition happen?
Yeah, it was wild. So, and for those that are watching, and Corey, I can tweet it out or something like that. There is a little, it's about 7.5 minutes or something like that. It's a short documentary that a friend of mine did on my story about this, the answer to your question. So if anybody's curious, you can actually go watch a documentary on my story on YouTube.
So cool.
Yeah. So later I'll tweet it out and all that stuff. But
yeah. Please do.
Yeah, but it was wild, man. I was dating this really nice girl. So I didn't do man, I was in a relationship the most of my touring career, honestly. I was.
Oh man.
And it's okay, man. Nowadays you don't really take those kind of guys seriously. If they're doing that stuff, they don't take their job seriously. So I lucked out. I had a really good girlfriend throughout the whole time, and all that kind of stuff. So when it ended, I was like, oh shit, I gotta move to Nashville because I lived in Arkansas at the time. And I was like, I gotta move to Nashville. I don't have a car. I don't have a place to live, and I've got like $700 in my account. And this is no joke. I got a speeding ticket borrowing her car the first day I moved to Nashville for like $300. So half of my money's gone. And,
If you pay it.
And it was just wild. It was a shocker because about 4 weeks before that, I had finished a tour where it wasn't with my band. I had actually been asked to be a hired gun to play guitar for a band. And I did that. And, the last show I played was the Dallas American Airlines Center, playing shredding on the catwalk for 25,000 people. And
wow.
And then you fast forward, a couple months and, I'm broke, Nashville, the whole thing. And I ended up, a friend of mine said, hey, I'll let you live in my house for $100 a month. That was it. Just $100 a month, get on your feet. And I said, okay. He goes, do you think you'd ever be interested in t-shirts and like merch? And I said, no, that just sounds ridiculous. But I said, I need to make money to impress this girl and her dad and like show that like I'm moving to Nashville. I'm not a deadbeat. Like I come from hard working blood. Like I was just, know what I mean? I have to and so, yeah, man, I said, of course I'll take the gig. And so I started printing. A friend of mine offered me a job. It was like, dude, it was like $8 an hour. You know how, dude, you're going from playing in a rock band with your best friends to printing t-shirts for $8 an hour. And that is that'll take a man's ego and just,
and flush it down the toilet. Yeah.
Oh, dude. So I'm sitting there like in this hot print shop in Nashville going like, this is not my story. There's no way. And so he asked me, my boss at the time, really cool dude, still friends with him. He said, you're really good at this stuff. Would you be interested in a sales position? And I said, yeah. And so he said, it's 100% commission. You don't get a base. You don't get anything. If you don't get an order, you don't eat. And I said, I don't care. Anything is better than printing t-shirts, sitting here sweating my balls off. And so like, yeah, dude, I took the position. I ended up, dude, it was wild. One of my first few orders was like a $50,000 order for the Boys and Girls Club. I'm going for it. I'm like, let's go. I'm selling. Okay. And
nice.
And 6 months later, I started my own company and left. And then
wow, so you were able to save up enough money and be able to invest in open a company. Wow.
Literally, yeah, because my friend was letting me live for so cheap that all my expenses were so incredibly low that I could start a company and live on very, very little and snowball effect any extra capital that came into the company. And so I preserved and literally hodled that capital all the way for about 3 or 4 years until I was ready to deploy that capital on employees and everything and blow the company up. And so I had a plan. I executed my plan, and I went from $100 a month living in a house to owning a beautiful home on the water. I had a boat. I had a motorcycle, Harley Davidson, like living the dream. Our offices are in downtown Nashville now. And I'm still the CEO there. I'm extremely passionate about my company. I think we're one of the best merch companies out there. If you own a small business, if you do branded promotional items, that's what we do. We print t-shirts, we do coffee mugs, we do banners, backdrops, merch stores for B2B. So we work with organizations, churches, events, a lot of marketing directors, all these things, but we make merch. It's that simple, man. If you got a logo, we put it on your shit. And so, that's that. And then I got into crypto, and then, yeah, here we are. But yeah, I was a rock and roll guy for a long time and then became an entrepreneur.
And from your merch stuff, from my understanding, you're the guy, like when you go to a rock show, like say I go see, I don't know, Ozzy's last tour again. Right? Like he's always got one more tour. And you're the guy out there, or your company's out there, the one selling all those t-shirts. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So like if you go to a concert or something like that, is that what you're asking? Kind of what we do, like
yeah.
So if you go to a concert, you buy a t-shirt or something like that, you're the end consumer. You bought one shirt.
Right.
I sell to the people who are buying them in bulk.
Those guys. Right. You're wholesale.
That's correct. So if you call me And if you're listening right now, and let's say I'm making this up, let's say you're a youth pastor at a church and you have an organization coming up, or you're an event director for a nonprofit. You need T-shirts, you need lanyards, you need this, that. That's our expertise, is helping, is supplying the branded product. But then we also have clients that are clothing lines that are looking for our expertise and guidance with building their brand.
Gotcha.
So there's two kind of things there. Our new website's coming out here pretty soon. The company, if you're curious, the company's called 85 Supply. I was born in 1985, and you can go to 85supply.com.
Wow, you're younger than me. I was born in 77.
We're not too far off, man. I just turned 38, and I don't know, man. It's weird being 38, by the way.
Yeah, wait till you hit 40, man. I'm 46, and so and I even started late in life with my family. I was 43 when I got married, and and had my first baby. Yeah, I waited to the timing. I knew I was in the right place mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially before I was gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna get married, have a baby, and do everything that I'm doing now. Lived a single life forever, man. And
that's badass. I mean, because I am the quintessential single, running and gunning entrepreneur. I've got my stuff. I'm not looking for a girl. I don't want a girl. And I was in a relationship. It ended, which everything's obviously super cool. She's an amazing human being. But that ended probably like 4 months. And I 4 months ago, and I was like, this is not, I'm going to focus on my crypto, my business, my friendships, my relationships, and especially my family. I miss my family. As you know, I live in Puerto Rico. I'm a Southern boy, man. My family, my family hasn't made it out here. I miss them greatly, and I cannot wait to go visit them. I have 5 nephews,
wow.
And all of them are just not one of them is under the age of 6, so it's just a bunch of little rugrats. I miss them, man. I miss them. So So Arkansas is definitely home. I don't know how I got on that tangent, but that's my story, man. I got an amazing family.
So what was your introduction to crypto?
I'm getting the good shit, man. Let's go.
Yeah, this is gonna be the fun part. And obviously, your introduction maybe it was directly into the Richard Hart ecosystem. I know mine wasn't. My introduction was buying, shit coins on the top of the market with influencers shilling me, and I had shiny object syndrome, and I was killing the game in the real estate business, and so I lost like multiple 6 figures right out of the gate chasing stupid coins that influencers are shilling me. That was my introduction to crypto.
Bro, all right. So mine's crazy. As I'm sitting here, you were talking about crypto. Gary, y'all know Gary Funding Jim?
Oh, yeah, he's been on our show a couple times.
Yeah, Gary's a very close friend of mine in real life. Texted him this morning. He gave me this sticker, and I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh, I sure can.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm just sitting here. But so we're talking about crypto. It made me think of that. Gary, if you're watching, thanks, man. I hope you're well. I miss you. And yeah, man. My crypto journey, if you will, or whatever, it's a lot like everybody's, man. I've been wrecked. I've been fucking rug pulled. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, I'm like awesome, I'm a great, no, I fucked up like a lot. And so, sorry, the focus sometimes goes off. There we go. But yeah, so man, how did I get in crypto? I'll tell you. So I was in my offices, and my CTO at the time, he was my CTO. We didn't have an office for him, so we had to share offices. One day, he turns around, he's like, "Hey man, have you heard of this Bitcoin thing?" And I was like, "I've seen the logo. Sure, what is it? Kind of thing." And he told me at the time Bitcoin was pretty relatively cheap in comparison to the 65 top or whatever it was.
Right.
And, I bought a bunch of it. I just said, screw it. I've always been that guy that just if you tell me that I can buy something, it's going to go up. You can't take me to Vegas, bro. You can't do it. Don't do it. But if you tell me I can buy something, it'll be worth something later, I'm all ears. And so I bought some Bitcoin. I bought a decent amount of it, and I got lucky, sold it for a really good profit on the way up. And you know, I'm being vague, but I did really well, man. And it wasn't because I'm a good trader. It was not because I'm like, I got lucky. When I tell you I bought it and I forgot about it, dude. And actually a friend of mine who's another CTO at a different company in Nashville, we were at a function, like an industry function. He goes, dude, have you seen Bitcoin and Ethereum? And by the way, I bought some Ethereum too. I said, no, man, I haven't looked at it. I bought some. I just haven't looked at my portfolio. I've been so busy. Because you should probably look at it. I looked at it. It's like sell.
Yeah. You were like forced to hodl because you just forgot about it. I think that sometimes the best strategy is to forget about our portfolio and just let it sit there and do what it's supposed to do, right? And because if you're looking at it every day, that's when it kind of gets in your mind where you're going to want to trade it or swap it for this, that, and the other, or you're going to want to, go into some degen plays. And so, like, that's amazing, man. So you obviously got the Bitcoin, Ethereum. You were able to make a good chunk of change. So when did Richard Hart come into all this?
Good old Richard, man. He's a freaking good dude, man. He's a freaking.
I love the guy.
I will start with saying that, man. You know, I'm not gonna like worship the ground Richard walks on and all that stuff, but that man is changing lives and he's a force for good for the world. So, yeah, so I bought that Bitcoin, hodled it. Next thing you know, made some money, you know, bought a few cool things. And then my buddy at the time, who really, his name is Wes. Wes actually is on the island as well with me, but he's on the island here. He's a big Hex guy. Him and my buddy Ryan. Ryan is a Hex OG, and he's a very, very close friend. So, yeah, and so I basically, dude, how did I get into this shit, man? It was during the COVID thing, and I was watching Wes, like, just, you know, that COVID run up was wild, man. And like, so he made some money, and then I ended up degening, trading my whole freaking, basically, you know, a bag away. And then, like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, buying every shitcoin under the sun, you know, like, just hoping to God, thinking I'm like a pro trader. But, you know, and then I lost, I'll be honest with you, man, I lost a lot of money in an investment, and I lost a bunch of money, and it was really fast in this particular thing. And I was fucking depressed, honestly. Like, I was, and so a friend of mine, Wes, called me, and I was on it, and this is, he told me about Hex and everything and whatnot, but I was on an 8-hour drive, dude. And I'm not even joking. I was on an 8-hour drive, depressed as shit, dude. Just like,
I know that feeling.
And just like, no, I lost 6 figures, like in the high 6 figures, like, and like, I'm like, oh shit, man. Like, how am I going to, bounce back from this? I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm not like loaded billionaire. Like, this is a lot of money for me. And so, my friend Wes called me. He's like, hey, man, I don't know. I can't guarantee that you're not going to make it back or anything like that, but I can give you an opportunity. And he's like, there's this thing called PulseChain. And I was like, I'm in. And so for 8 hours, he called me. He goes, Trevor, I want you to shut the fuck up. Like, pardon my language. He was like, I want you to shut up. I want you to put me on speaker. And I want you to put your phone on Do Not Disturb and listen to what I have to say. And he was like, all right, so it's a fork of Ethereum. It's faster, cheaper, better. Like, he just starts going off. And so I was like, damn, dude, this guy's got it. Like, this makes sense. This makes logical sense. I see how this PulseChain thing could be a really, really cool ecosystem. And so I went all in. And so, yeah.
Oh, man, what an amazing story. Mine's somewhat similar, man. Just got wrecked, lost 6 figures. And Dane, who is my partner on the show, and you'll meet him here. He's here in Puerto Rico, Trevor. He had called me up, and he's like, hey, man, I know you're into this crypto thing. I see that, you're not really doing that well with it. He goes, why don't you check this dude, Richard Hart, out? And this was right before PulseX sacrifice.
Oh, okay. So, got it.
Yeah. And so I missed the PulseChain sacrifice. I got lucky. I was able to get some money across the bridge over during those super deep lows. So I feel like I was able to get my bag that I wanted to, my kind of my dream pulse chain bag accumulated, and I'm still accumulating until this day. Like I just did a DCA this morning, and so absolutely amazing. But man, it was I started watching his videos, and I'm like, and I think me and you had talked about this. He really resonated with me because the guy had this like entrepreneurial mindset, doesn't give a F about what your perspective is. He's the only truth teller that I was seeing in crypto at the time. And I just resonated with that. A truth teller in this shit show of a landscape we call crypto, where everyone's out for themselves, trying to dump on everyone's heads, pulling rug pulls, these stupid JPEGs, and he's the only guy out there telling the truth.
Yep.
And
dude, I'm telling you, I literally started to run. I have to I love that, bro. I was on my couch when I first started watching his streams, and that's exactly how I felt, Corey, for real, man. I was like, dude, this is the only mother effer who's willing to be like, you're bullshit, you're
yes,
you're bullshit. And usually when someone is saying that from a place of, if you're a smart grown adult, you can make your own decision. But if usually you can have your own judgment and understand that person is saying that from either A, a place of conviction and honesty, or B, deceit. And it was very, very easy for me. I don't know, maybe it's a judge of character. I personally looked at this and went, okay, yeah, it's not deceit, so it's a good judge of character. And I think this guy's telling the truth. And I think he legitimately has everyone's best interest in mind, with no expectations. And I think that's the greatest way you can't lose.
I agree, and I think it takes a certain type of person to see through Richard and see the actual opportunity that he's providing, because a lot of people get their egos in the way. Like they feel like they're Richard is telling them how it is, and that it gets in the way of what they believe what crypto is, and they think this guy's a scammer, and it's an ego problem. And it's people who are able to let their ego down and admit that, oh wow, this guy's on to something. He's a smart individual. He's way above, or he's way in just his thought process is milestones ahead of everyone else in crypto. And if people are able to just let their ego down, I mean, I swear to you, he's here to try to save people in crypto and make the world a better place. Period. And that's my opinion. So
it's actually kind of amazing.
It is. It really is. And
when people can't so I don't even know where to begin here, because now that I've actually gone through, I'm not a Hex OG, right? But
I'm not either.
But when I got in, for example, meaning started getting active on specifically Twitter.
Right.
When I started getting active on Twitter, I was like, why is everyone such a fucking asshole?
Yeah, no, dude. It is so toxic.
What? Seriously, I messaged many people in the ecosystem complaining and being like, yo, I'm happy to be here, but some of y'all got to chill the fuck out and quit asking or acting like little freaking babies.
That's the problem I think the biggest problem with the cryptocurrency community is that a lot of these guys are 9-to-5 guys. They have $5,000 in their bank account. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, guys. It's just that the mindset has not been developed for them to obtain true wealth and to invest in an actual genuine asset class. If a lot of these guys were to investing in real estate or the stock market or own businesses, their mindset would shift. And so a lot of people are playing the lottery game with crypto, and they're getting wrecked really quick. And that's where you're seeing this toxicity and going in, and it's just
it's amazing that the guy that's going to invest $1 million into something, I'll sit there for 2+ years as long as I know it's being freaking built.
Hands down.
You're not going to hear me bitch and all that kind of stuff. But the guy that invests $1 into something,
yes,
is going to sit there and create 10 different Twitter accounts and get blocked by RH on every single one of them.
Yeah, and call RH a scammer, and blah 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 blah. I mean, and come up with every excuse. I mean, and that's it, man. That's totally it. It's just a different mindsets of all these people who are involved in crypto. And I feel like if you talk to the more sophisticated entrepreneurial type or investor type, or who's maybe some crypto OGs, they see past all that and they have a different perspective. And that's why I feel like our community, honestly, bro, is probably one of the best communities in the crypto space. If you compare it side by side to like the Sheeb community or maybe the Cardano community, you know, I feel like, man, we have some of the best thinkers and entrepreneurial type mindset people. It's just amazing, man. People like yourself. Yeah. Like I was really impressed when I met you. And I'm like, man, this is my kind of bro. This is the kind of guy I want to be around more often. And that's why I'm going to love moving to Puerto Rico, because a lot of these guys are out here. You know, Motley, Wendy's, you know, all these guys who are just killing the game, have the right mindset. And I love networking with those type of people, because that's what levels you up in life. And I've learned that from being in real estate. I've joined masterminds. I've paid $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 to be in these groups to truly level up my life. And that's how I was able to become a millionaire, man, is because I was around like-minded people.
That's badass, dude. I'm telling you, and that's a big thing is surrounding yourself by the right with the right people. So when I got into the Hex community, so yeah, you asked me earlier about that, and I didn't even answer it. So my story, my story, so everybody watching or whatever. And by the way, Crypto Compassion, what's up? Also. Yeah, he's a great guy, man. I really like his stuff. He's so nice, obviously. War Ants, I see your comment, man. Yeah, hit me up about those jackets. Brizology. Wait, hold on.
My man.
He goes, Richard designed Hex so people like Trevor wouldn't make it big in Hex, because the bleed out, because I forgot about my Bitcoin. He's saying you're not going to forget about your Hex stakes.
That is absolutely correct, because you're going to lose all your wealth if you do.
I love it, Briz. That's awesome, man. But yeah, so my what was I gonna say?
Your Hex,
Richard, all that stuff, Hex. Yeah. So my buddy Wes told me all about Hex. Calls. It's really funny. He calls me. He's like, it's got this staking feature and this, that, and the other. And I was like, all right, cool. So I do a stake. I'm like, I don't know. I'm making T-shirts, man. I'm busy. And like, so I go on the, you know, I snag a bag of Hex, a little bag. I create a stake. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But then, you know, he's like, it's crazy. One night I'm a big watch. Like, I love watches. I'm a big watch fan. One night, you know, my YouTube predicted had this guy named Richard Hart streaming with this other dude talking about watches. And I'm like, who's this guy? He's got like $3-4 million in watches. Like, that's a lot of watches, you know? And then my buddy was like, dude, that's Rick. Like, that's the guy. Like, that's the dude. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like, you know, someone mentioned the way that Richard and I connected, and then later on, you know, connected in real life and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I want you to tell that story too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Richard just, you know, like I say it every time, like a freaking broken record, but he was kind enough. Someone had mentioned something about the band Korn, and if you know the band Korn, if you're not familiar with Korn, it's spelled with a K, and they're a very large, globally known rock band that has been around since the 90s. And so they
grew up on them.
Up there with Limp Bizkit, Metallica, Slipknot, all those guys. And the guitar player of Korn is my best friend. And, you know, and I'm like, wait, what? Someone mentioned? I was like, dude, if you just want to talk to Brian is his name. We call him Head, is his name, Head, because he has a huge freaking head. And so I was like, if you want to talk to Head, like, I can make it happen. I commented, and then Hexologist, you know, kind of coordinated, and I was like, yeah. And so Richard was kind enough to just video chat with us. It was before PulseX and all that kind of stuff. And I think Richard probably thought it was going to be a full-on like public stream, but I was like, or maybe he didn't. I don't know. It was he was kind enough to just do a private little stream and just answer any questions and like just be a freaking good dude. And so from that day forward, you know, we connected and connected on Telegram and then Richard, of course we, you know, go from there. And then Gary, Funding Jim, calls me one day. I'm out here in Puerto Rico. I'd already moved to Puerto Rico. And he's like, hey, man, Richard's going to be in Miami. And I was like, well, when? And he's like, you know, in like 5 hours. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I hit up Richard and like, hey, man, I'm coming. I'll come see you. So I hopped a plane that morning and went and then hung out with Richard for a couple of days and Gary and Dollar Cost, Miguel, you know, all those guys. I'm not an OG, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to know the gentlemen that are involved in all of this. And that it wasn't really so much, oh, meet Richard, so much it was just, I really want to know the people that are involved in this thing, you know, like I want to know where my crypto is, you know, and so, or the people that are alongside of me rather. But, and so, yeah, man, we hung out in Miami, dude, that guy, like, bro, me and Richard ate, like, we ordered, like, I don't even know, because, like, I'm looking at it right now. I could take a picture of it. It literally says on my screen, there's like it's a sticker. It's a joke. It says power order. So the guys in the band used to make fun of me because I'll go to a restaurant and I'll order 5 different meals, but I just want to taste every one of them. I don't want to eat them. Yeah. Me and Richard bonded over that. The dude orders like 11 subs, and I ordered like 4, and we just wanted to taste each sub sandwich. That was like hilarious, by the way. But like, dude, you know. And then he did the podcast with Fresh and Fit guys. Props to those guys. You know, I'm trying to think. Hung out with Dollar Cost. Miguel, what's up? If you're watching, I talk to Miguel on a regular basis. He's a good dude. And but yeah, man. And then I'm trying to think.
You set him up though, where he went on stage with Korn.
Yeah, with Korn. So yeah, so that was wild. Richard, a little while later, calls me and was like, "Hey, bro," or maybe it was before. I don't even remember, man. But he called me up or texted me or something. I don't know that morning. Hey, bro, Korn is playing in Finland. Can you hook it up? I'm like, yeah, of course I can hook it up. When are they playing? He's like tomorrow or tonight or something. I'm like, good Lord, like no heads up. And so I have to so I'm like calling like major favors on this. And it was the coolest thing, man. Richard and his friends showed up to the show where there was probably 50,000 people or something like that. And Brian, my friend, was able to give him the red carpet treatment and more so Brian's tour manager, which those guys like heck. So if you're watching, thank you. Dude, so they took the Ferraris and all that stuff, and they gave them. I told them, I was like, dude, you give these boys the red carpet treatment, like make it worth their while. Like give them to me. I don't give a shit, man. That was my whole world for 10 years. Like make a memory, you know. And it was really cool, dude. They treated Richard very, very well and parked the Ferraris in the bottom of the arena. Had special cool. and then brought Richard up on stage for photo op. And if you haven't seen that photo, just let me know and I'll post it or something like that. But it's a really cool photo of Richard and Head, and then you see a sea of people behind him, and it was a really cool moment, man. It was a really, really cool moment, and but yeah, man, I'm still so very heavily connected in the rock world, and so anytime I can pull some strings for my homies, I love it, man. I always love to do that kind of stuff. So, but that's how kind of got into this. So the Korn guys, at least I can speak for Brian, maybe a couple other ones, but they like Hex, they like Pulsechain, they like PLSX, and
wow,
and some have sacked. So it's there's a lot of cool people in this ecosystem that some of y'all have no clue about, man. It's
right,
awesome.
And that's low key big money, right? When you stack up those kind of players over and over again. And it's the same like our group. We have a group with real estate entrepreneurs that we're onboarding. And man, these guys, we're onboarding people who are not bringing 1,000, 5,000 to the table. I mean, these guys are bringing millions of dollars to the table. I mean, we have a level of sophistication in our community, I feel like, like I said before, that no other community has. I really believe that down to the core of my bones, and that's why I'm so blessed and honored to be here. Because I do always want. I always one of my favorite sayings is I want to be the dumbest person in the room.
Straight
I want
up.
to be around smart guys who are investing and who understand the game better than me, so I can learn and grow. It's the only way I'm going to learn and grow, and that's what I did with real estate. And I got my ass handed to me in real estate in the very beginning. I lost $250,000 on my third real estate deal. I lost all my life savings. I lost my 401k money out of the business. The company I was working for was a casino. I used to be a blackjack dealer. I lost all that money. I lost my previous flip money, and it set me back to zero. And it's by joining these masterminds and being around like-minded people. And I know I've kind of talked about this already. That kind of leveled me up and kept me going and kept me to pushing to the next level. And so like this community has those type of people, which is I freaking love it, man.
Dude,
I
it's
love
incredible.
it.
It's amazing. And I will say, dude, from the time I got in, like, okay, one time, this is Hexo, if you're watching, bro, it's funny. I love you. But dude, so when I first got into the Hex community, I remember specifically, I went at it with Hexo on one thread because I was like, why are you guys so mean to everybody? Stop being mean. And they're like, it's because they came at us and called us scammers for 2 years straight. Like, I get that. That sucks. And then ask Johnny Chaos. So me and Johnny went at it in a Twitter in a Twitter thread one time. The last time we spoke, he remembered what it was. But we went at it. I don't remember. And my whole angle was, why is everyone so pent up? Y'all chill. Y'all just chill. And so it's really cool. It's very, very, very cool to see this community kind of like I knew that's just a season. It's not like, oh, that's going to be the community forever. Just these like pitchfork wielding people. Like, no, it's a season, and that's normal.
Right.
And as a guy coming from a band who, being in a band, let me tell you, being in a professional touring rock band with your best friends and who are also your business partners, you realize that you're only a small piece of a big pie, and so I realized, I was like, this is just a season, because I've been in these seasons with other like-minded people and we were just kind of butting heads. And so I stuck with it, man. And now it's so rad, dude. It's so cool seeing like all these people on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, like you name it. And it's more of a welcoming message, and that narrative of Hex is a scam. Like, dude, that's kind of old now. Like, you don't really, like if somebody tells me that, I'm like, bro, you're 2 years behind, homie. Like, I'm sorry. But that narrative is shifted. We don't have to throw out our pitchforks anymore, but it's hilarious whenever someone does, like the random person that like tweets Hex is a scam, how just their comments are like flooded with, oh, you're too late. You're too late. We've already been here. We've all got like stars to prove it,
So, it's funny because I feel like any beginning of a strong and amazing up and coming community, you do need that cult like following, that cult like family, the way the Hess community is, because even like the Bitcoin early days, and of course I wasn't around for this, but this is like the stories I hear. There was like the cult of Satoshi, right? And everyone thought like anybody in Bitcoin was absolutely crazy, and it was a scam, and it was a cult. And it's basically the same thing we see that with Hex, especially in the early days. And I really believe, man, and I would love to hear your thought process on this, but I really believe that Pulsechain is the Trojan horse that will bring all the gatekeeping down for Hex.
Yes, it's so, without a doubt. Like in my personal opinion, I do believe that it's going to be like capitulation in a good way, meaning the walls are coming down.
Right.
And I knew that on that 8-hour drive I was telling you about, when my friend was telling me, I was like, if everything that I know, I mean, I'm not stupid. I kind of know crypto. I'm not the best in the world, but if everything he's telling me is true, this shit's going to change crypto. And so that's why I went all in on it, and knowing that the founder was an honest and sincere human being and all these things, and so the answer to that is yes. I do believe that Pulsechain is going to be incredible. It is incredible already.
It is. I loved it, man. I was doing transactions this morning. It was.
It's crazy to me that you have guys that are out there like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. This thing is probably going to go to zero. And like, I don't know if it's cheaper, faster, better. It's only a fork of Ethereum. Like, okay, so let me tell you this. Would you rather own like a portion of McDonald's stock or Burger King stock? Because they both they're both horizontally scaled.
Right.
Or vertically scaled. So like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, I want a small piece of a very, very large pie. And so with Pulsechain, it makes logical sense. It makes, and this narrative of, and I don't want to go too long on this because it's honestly not even worth my time, your time, all that bullshit. But this like narrative of like E-hacks, P-hacks, shut the fuck up.
I was going to ask your thoughts about that narrative.
Like maybe I'm too harsh with that, but like, dude, bottom line is like, okay, I have 2 internets in my home. I have 2. I have Puerto Rican landline internet, just old school, like straight modem. And then I got Starlink. I got a backup. Okay.
Yeah.
From Elon, and like, so, I love them both. Guess what? Right before this stream, I tested both, and usually Starlink is faster. I'm on Liberty right now.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm toggling networks, bro. That's all I'm doing. Do you think the average investor is going to give 2 shits what network they are on? Hex is valuable no matter what the network. And so now, in some of these ding dongs out there, what about E or fair hex? That hex,
fair and POW. That is the argument there.
I don't give 2. That's not that to me. It's like that we can all agree is outdated. Okay, outdated is the key term there. So I don't believe that E-hex is outdated. I do not believe that it is outdated personally. Now I could be completely fucking wrong. I don't give 2 shits. I've been wrong a lot. But personally, I love them both, and I have stakes on both chains. And as far as I'm concerned, I think it would be so dope if Ethereum got their shit together come the next bull and they lowered their gas fees, and I can tell all of my friends like Hex is valuable no matter what. Like no matter what. I encourage you to use, I would, if it were me, I would start with Pulsechain because it's going to be faster, cheaper, and better. Yes. Now, if you need to go and you need to grab some E-hex, do the E-hex thing. So, I don't know. I don't want to get in the weeds with that stuff. My thing is time always tells. You have these guys who are going to be the most vocal and the most loud within the first 3 weeks of something launching. I think that is, for me, I'm going to take a back seat and just say, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't give 2 shits. I'm happy either way. My bags are protected. I love Pulsechain. I love Hex. And historically, I've made the wrong decision of taking a stance on something and later been proved wrong. And it's a really embarrassing thing. And it sucks. And I think it's unwise for certain people to take certain stances like so early. I think you can never go wrong practicing patience. You can never go wrong practicing patience to see how the markets play out, right? So it's just for me, man. If you're gonna go maxi on me, and by the way, dude, I don't give 2 shits about this stuff. Like all these guys, Motley, Tendies, Dollar Cost, freaking all the Gary Funding Gym. Like, dude, I'm cool with everybody. I respect everybody's opinion. 100. I would ask that they would respect mine, and you don't even have to. But I think it's a little too soon to make some judgment calls. That's my honest opinion.
And that's my honest opinion too. I like to be Switzerland with this, and because I just don't know, and I can't know, and this is always an admittance of not knowing and letting your ego down. You have to let the ego down. The same reason why we diversify and why we dollar cost average in. We don't know. I just don't know what it's going to do. I can't outsmart the market. So
Right.
if I can't outsmart the market, then what is the best strategy? Well, diversification is always the best strategy, and don't try to play your cards one way or the other. And so
Right.
that's what I do. Now, any new economic energy, am I going to Pulsechain? Of course, because I'm loving the new toy that I
Yeah.
just got presented with.
I
But
think,
I'm not gonna EES my stakes over on Ethereum. I'm not gonna play the bet that Ethereum's going to zero, because I just don't know. And an admittance of that is what I need to do to be a good investor always.
yeah, and I think Briz makes a great point in the comments here. I see he said no one hates EX. It's about the gas fees in the bull market. And Alan, same thing. Yeah, you're in it too. But I agree with that, man. Briz, I mean, no one hates EX. Nobody hates EX. No one is all that kind of stuff. I think that he's exactly right. And I believe, like, if you think, man, I'm not an Ethereum guy. I'm not. Like, it's just not my jam anymore. I like Pulsechain now. But if you think for 2 seconds that the fucking Ethereum Foundation is going to let their gas fees remain where they're at forever, you're crazy.
I agree.
You're insane. You're insane. They're going to figure out how to get their fees lower, and they're going to be a competitor in the market, because that's how business works. Fuck your crypto ideas. That's how business works.
100%.
They're going to go, oh, they just one-upped us. I have to be more competitive. It's the same thing with me. When another merch company offers something I'm not offering, I have to learn how to offer it, figure it out, hire somebody who's good with that, make them figure it out. You got to scale, dude. And so I think that it's going to be a good thing that whenever Ethereum brings their gas fees down, because that means that, obviously Pulse is doing even better. And then you can, if you want to, when you unstake on ETH, it's going to be good. Yeah, it'll be a good thing. Like, so I don't know. That's kind of where I sit on that topic. I don't want to sound like too much of a shitty little cheerleader, but I do want everyone to win, and I don't like arguing. It's not my jam. I have so many things in my life that are so more crucial, much more important than EHEX versus PX. I assure you.
I agree. And I find in life, man, and this is not just with crypto, with everything, when you have one party preaching one narrative, like, you see this a lot in politics. And it's extremely, they're just like a maxi in that narrative. And then you have another party that's a maxi in the opposite direction. Usually the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
That's what I find.
This is my pup. This is my puppy. Come here, baby. Come here. This is my baby.
Oh, man. Beautiful.
This is my little pit bull. Her name's Ruby.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But no, man, I think that the whole ecosystem is already a success, and it will continue to be a success, man. I mean, like I said, I can't hop on board and get in arguments and stuff like that, man. No. I got bills to pay. I got adult conversations to have. I can't be like getting obsessive about EHEX versus PHEX. I can tell you that.
I agree.
My story is a little different too. So I tend to want to remind myself, like I really try. I'm not, to remind myself that I'm not an OG. Okay, that I don't have like some of these. My mindset is going to be a little bit. My mindset's going to be a little bit different than someone else's. And my viewpoints are going to be a little bit more different, because I wasn't there in the beginning. I didn't, experience paying $1,000 to unstake something and all these things,
Right.
So I do have compassion for that, in regards to like someone speaking passionately, in regards to something because they were there and I wasn't. So I respect that for sure. I just, because that's their money, it's not mine. But I try to be just an overall encourager, man. I'm not, I do well for myself, right? But I've got real world shit I have to worry about, man.
Right. But we got a super chat. Thank you so much, War Ants. We appreciate it. Trevor, can you hook me up with Alyssa from Arch Enemy? Just joking, bro. We'll hook you up for a merch. Keep going, Corey and Trevor.
Dude, Arch Enemy. They say you're only like 6 degrees of separation from anybody.
Always.
So truth be told, man, if it's in the music industry and you actually want me to hook you up with this, you mean hook you up as in like dating? Oh, okay, all right, never mind. So I can't. So I can't.
I think that's where he's going with it.
Okay, well I can't hook you up, bro. But if you can hook me up, that'd be great. I'm single now, so.
You're single, man, ready to mingle. I love it, man. You're going to have a good time here on the island being single and being an entrepreneur. And I mean, I'm glad I got life out of the way, though, when I was younger. And got all that out of the way. Now I can do the whole family thing and really build an empire. And so it's just it was the perfect timing for me. So you're still younger than me, man. You're at the perfect for me. I remember, how old are you? You're 34 again? You're 36?
Oh 30. Shit, I wish, dude. I just turned 38.
38. Yeah, I remember 38 like yesterday. I had my 38th year, was in the Philippines literally for 3 months. Just enjoying my best life, if you can imagine.
Dude, yeah. Well, I know that is one of my things, man. Is I love traveling. So if you guys, now I'm popping. Shoot, I'm going to. I'll be in the United States. Next week? Over in Nashville. So that's my story. I'm originally from Nashville. So anybody from Nashville, you want to holler at me? I'll be in Nashville working out of my offices next week downtown. So if you want to hit me up for lunch and all that kind of stuff. I know that the Hex or Pulsechain tour thing that they're doing is going to Nashville. I talked to Black Hexagon about that. And so definitely, I know, I think Jenkins might be Nashville boy. I don't know. I'm not even sure. But what's this? Me and Trevor should do a Colombia tour. He can visit me in Europe and have a great time. Bro, I'm in. Like, I'm in. I'm in. You don't even know. Dude, you mentioned Colombia, dude.
Colombia, I would get in trouble down there.
Dude, bro, like, you have no idea. I'm in.
I love it, man. Well, cool, man. I mean, we've been going about an hour now. Do you want to like tell the people where they can find you at? You got anything you want to shill?
Just Hex, Pulse, and PulseX.
Let's go, bro.
as of right now, I mean,
go.
I shill it all the time, man. Oh my God, dude, my onboards. Holy crap, dude. They're like, how do I set up this MetaMask? How do I do this? How do I do that? Oh my God, dude. I spent like 3-4 hours yesterday on the phone helping some friends out. So if I was gonna shill anything, man, I would obviously shill Pulse, PulseX, Ink Token, and Hex on both chains. And so but apart from that, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's just my name. I do go by my actual real in life name. My security is extremely
me too.
tight. Yeah. So if you want to fuck with me, I promise you will not win. So like,
me too.
So I have and I'm doxxed. I don't really care. I'm doxxed as shit. So I like that sometimes, man. I like to stream every now and then. I run my Twitter account and do that thing, but I'm definitely active over on Instagram. So if you like Instagram, hit me up on Instagram. I don't have a YouTube channel or anything like that. The only time I do streams is when I'm just asked like this. That's when I feel is maybe in the future I'll do some more. That is kind of on the radar, like to do an actual but more of a podcast to invite different certain guests on there and for them to freely, I want to make sure. I've talked to Gary about this, about how cool it would be to have an actual like a real setup with amazing production and celebrity guests, and we don't gatekeep shit. We talk about it all, and especially some of these, because there's a lot of really I say, I'm just pulling these words out of my butt, but like prominent or powerful or rich or whatever you want to call it, they're in the shadows, who would talk about this stuff, you know what I mean? So if it was in a different way. And so that's always been kind of on the forefront of mind. So if I stream, all that to say, if I end up like doing this, if I stream, bro, I'm going to turn this whole room into a freaking studio. It's going to be beautiful. And
I love it. I'll have to come join you.
It'll be the real deal.
You're right, man. There's a lot of big money coming in our ecosystem. One guy, I don't know if you're familiar who he is. His name is Robert Allen. He's like the goat in the real estate space. He's like, he came right after Carlton Sheets. There was Carlton Sheets in the 70s, and then Robert Allen came out in the 80s, and he wrote a bunch of books. And we're onboarding him into the Pulsechain ecosystem, which is really effing cool. Because the guy in his career, he's made, this is insane, the number. In his whole career, he's 76 now. So, I mean, obviously he's older, but he's made $1.3 billion in his career of, events, writing books, giving seminars, doing masterminds, doing real estate. And so the guy is just massively wealthy, and it's going to be an honor to onboard that guy into our ecosystem.
Dude, that's so cool, man. I had a friend. Oh my God! If y'all are still watching, I know we probably have to wrap this up, but
no, we're good. Yeah,
dude, I'm telling you, I had a friend the other day. one of my like onboards or whatever. He's a very, very, very successful guy out in the States. I'm not going to dox anything about him, but very, very, very successful. Just wants into crypto so bad, wants into crypto, and I've been preaching pulse, just pulse. Like I'm just like preaching it. And this guy is worth a lot of money. And the other day, he was like, man, I think I understand this. He's like super Southern, I think I understand this, this Pulsechain bridge shit you're talking about. I'm going to give it a go. Listen, I'm going to buy. Trev, what do you think about me doing? I think I'll probably do. It was like $1.7 million.
Wow, incredible.
And he was like, but the thing is, he was going to spot buy that shit, and I was like, brother, like you need to watch liquidity. You need to like pump the brakes. Like it's just. But I give these analogies or not. These stories. To kind of piggyback on what you were saying, there's a lot of money out there that hasn't entered into the ecosystem. There's a lot of whales out there who literally have not even bought yet. They've maybe bridged a little bit, but they haven't bridged everything. They're waiting for this thing to play out because they're seasoned investors and they know shit does not happen in 3 weeks. You got to give it 3 months. Give it 3 months and see how this thing goes. And then we can start forming, some opinions within the 3, 6, and 8 month time frame.
Yep, I agree 100%, man. War Ants has got one more super chat for us before we hop off. Trevor, it was a joke in some way, but you know what I'm talking about. Not gonna spill pants yet, bro.
Listen, bro. Just saying, anytime you want to go to Colombia, let's go. I'm down. No, but Corey, I thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, it's a truly honor and blessing to be around like-minded people, entrepreneurs, because that's what our goal is with this show, is kind of bridge the gap with a lot of our entrepreneur friends in crypto. So it's really cool to bring guys on who have already kind of ingrained deep in this space, and they come from an entrepreneurial background. So, man, we appreciate you. Keep doing the good work.
Well, the best thing that I can kind of wrap this up with on myself from an entrepreneur perspective is that, trying to think how I can bridge this gap here. I would just encourage everyone, seriously, I would encourage everyone in the X and Pulsechain and PulseX, all in the whole ecosystem, man, to just, now's the time to band together. Yeah. Now's not the time to disassemble what you I say you, because there's a lot of people that are watching that were in this ecosystem far before me. But you've worked so hard, dude. You've worked so hard to build, to band together as a collective community and bring it to what it is. Now's not the time to argue and name call and be assholes and stuff like that. Like, now's the time to be like, you know what? At least somebody, the guy next to me gives a shit. So I would wrap this up and say, man, I would just encourage everybody in the Hex and Pulsechain community. I'll say we work our best when we're working together and when we're communicating the right way and when we're encouraging and we're onboarding. We do not work well when we're running around with pitchforks, and especially if we're running around with pitchforks within our community to other people. And so I would highly recommend that, make sure your narrative on Twitter and Telegram and all these other outlets is a positive one, man. And, try and be, you never know who's lurking. Like me, I was lurking. I was watching you guys. I was checking that the Hex and Pulsechain before I ever freaking tweeted. I was watching every one of you guys for a long time before I ever even tweeted. And so, I knew what I was getting into, but a lot of these other people, man, they need a more softer entrance, so be kind and be patient, and especially with your fellow investor. So that's
I love it. I love it, man. Mic drop on that one. So we appreciate you guys, and we appreciate everyone in the chat and everyone watching. Hit the like and subscribe on your way out, guys. It pumps all of our bags. It helps the algorithm. We want to go viral with this show and help onboard new entrepreneurs into the RH ecosystem. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.